What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we are going to talk about the high-speed rail from Phoenix to Tucson or Tucson to Phoenix. But basically, this is just a discussion. I think it should happen. I'm going to present the idea to you, and you guys, I'm going to ask you to give your thoughts on this idea. So one thing's for damn sure, there's one way to get to Tucson, right? And in between is Casa Grande and Eloy and Oro Valley and whatnot, but you can get there on the I-10 and that's about it. There's a couple other freeways that don't really count. They're not even freeways, they're just two-lane highways. But I'm saying, let's advance Arizona. Let's put Phoenix in an area where it is cutting edge. And there's nothing wrong with being cutting edge. And as a matter of fact, the people who do not want to be cutting edge, those are the people that I don't get their problem. So I think Phoenix should be a cutting edge city. There's plenty of cities around the world that are cutting edge, and not so much in America anymore. And that's a problem because we used to be the innovators, the creators. Nowadays, we're kind of, honestly, behind everyone else. So yeah, this is a little bit of a political video, but let's dial it in. So if you're living in Arizona, or if you're thinking about living in Arizona, you may want to subscribe to this channel, and you can turn on the bell to get notified when we drop videos. You can see we've talked about crime rates, Arizona's extreme heat, Casa Grande retiring, moving to Arizona. You can click on any of these videos right here. But let's go ahead and talk about this. So there's a big ad right there, lazy boy right there on Tucson.com. But on Tucson.com, this was written in 2017, Feds pick preferred route for possible Tucson-Phoenix passenger railway. Okay, so this is even before I even thought about, like, I'm not saying that I'm the one who came up with this idea because they were talking about it before I even mentioned it or thought about it. But, you know, here in 2017, a study of a possible passenger rail service between Tucson and Phoenix has taken another step forward, with a federal agency officially selecting a preferred route. So you can see here's the preferred route, which is great because it goes right through my community, Queen Creek. Okay, I love that. It goes right along the I-10. I'm really happy about the preferred route. I think it's a fantastic route selection. I'm standing behind this. As a matter of fact, Arizona Department of Transportation should adopt this route, and let's get started. But because things got to move really slow because of bureaucracy, blah, 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 we'll leave that out of it, but let's go ahead and talk about that. So you can see that they're talking about a more cost-efficient and better performing rail. So some of the things that I would like to say about rail. So here's a subject that will get your attention. Why America is betting big on bullet trains. Okay, so you know that America has not been that big of an innovator when it comes to transportation. 11 incredibly fast trains that leave America in the dust. If you're an American and you strive for excellence and you believe in excellence and success, when you see the rest of the world outpacing us in any sort of area, in particular transportation, you should say, why is that? And you should say, well, we should fix that. Yeah, so 11 incredibly fast trains that leave America in the dust. Obviously, Belgium. So you've got the Belgium train. It takes less than 90 minutes to get from Paris to Brussels. That's pretty fast. I've actually ridden that train. That's how I know about bullet trains. Okay, I've never gone from Milan to Bologna, but I have taken the one from Naples to Milan. So that goes through Rome, Florence, and then it does hit Bologna. But actually, I did take that one. Because it goes through Bologna before it gets to Milan, north of, so I've been on that one. The Eurostar, I've never been on the one from London. And let's see here. I have been on the Madrid to Barcelona. That one is very fast. Now you're seeing, I'm not just some guy who's sitting here talking about bullet trains and high-speed rail. I see the utility in them, and I think they're great. I've been to Taiwan. I'm not so sure I've been on the bullet train, on this particular bullet train. I did only go from the train from Taipei's airport. Seoul, I did not go on the one in Seoul, but I have been to Seoul. France, well, you also have Shanghai and Japan. Haven't been on that one, haven't been on this German one. But you can see none of these are in America. They're all over the world. They're in Europe, they're in Asia, all over Asia, right? And so I'm saying, let's do this here in America. Now, here's the thing. People will not ride them, and in America, they will not ride them if they're overrun with crime or bad activity like you see in BART or in Los Angeles. So one of the things that I've seen around the world that I would recommend that they implement is a first class, a second class, and a third class carriage. What I mean by that is, so let's just say people who are, like they're only able to afford it to go for $2 from, I don't know, Queen Creek to Scottsdale. They'll stay in the third class booth. And that allows you, if you want to pay more, you can upgrade to second class, which say that would be a $10 ticket. And then you have, for people who want to, have a really nice experience, nicer seats and whatnot, pay for the first class. And those would be like a $25 ticket. Okay, I'm just saying, these are ideas. You have a first class, a second class, and a third class. So this will also bring in more revenue. So if you just think, well, like right now they just do the light rail, it's all one class. So some people don't want to get on there because they don't want to be around certain people that are on drugs or, that are not people they want to be around, so they just won't ride it. So it's got to be comfortable. For the people who can afford comfort, they should be able to pay for the comfort. And they have this in California, even on the coaster. You can go from San Diego to Los Angeles on coaster and you can pay for business class. So I'm saying, instead of just having two classes, business class and economy, put three classes in there. Business class, first class, and then economy. And this is not because I'm trying to say, I'm just being realistic. There's some people who just will not ride the bullet train or the high-speed rail for that reason, if it's all just one class. And in Arizona, they might be so naive to neglect this reality of the fact that that's why people won't ride it, is because they just lump everyone in under the same thing. Yeah, it sounds like I'm ranting and it sounds like I'm going on a tangent, but I've talked to people about why they won't ride the rail system, and more often than not, it's because they don't want to be around certain types of people, so they'll take their own automobile. But I said to them, would you rather ride a rail? And they said, yeah, if it was comfortable, okay? And it's also got to be efficient. And if you can make it efficient and comfortable, people will stop driving their automobiles. I've talked to more and more people who do not like driving on these high-speed corridors. So more 5-lane highways going 75 miles an hour, there is at least a percentage of population that's higher than you thought that don't like driving on 75-mile-an-hour high-speed corridors. I mean, sure, 50%, maybe 75% of the people don't mind it, never thought twice about it, but what about the other 25%? Where's their alternative? You see what I'm saying? There's people who do not want to get on the road with 18-wheelers going 75 miles an hour. So they should be able to ride a train. And some people don't even want to ride an airplane. So this whole thing about, oh, well, the airline industry needs the business. Well, you know what? They don't even fly really from Phoenix to Tucson, okay? It's pretty much drive there. So you put the high-speed rail solution in there. You create the corridor between Phoenix and Tucson, put the two depots, and then from those depots, you can build off light rail and other rail solutions in both cities. And then you've got this grid, this network of trains, at least connecting two of the biggest cities in Phoenix in a big metropolitan area, and it just makes too much sense. So why not do it? What's the deal? Well, it comes down to the fact the airline industry doesn't want their pockets to be hurt, even though the quality of American airliners, don't even get me started on that, because you go to Asia, you go to Europe, you instantly can tell that they're shafting you here in America with the airline class. I mean, you fly on an Asian airliner, you're getting 2 meals for a 3-hour flight. You're getting free water, you're getting free drinks. Here on an American airline flight from somewhere to somewhere, you're going to be paying them whatever it costs, and also the seats. They've even made the rows even shorter, right? Like, you get more leg room on foreign flights too. So the whole thing is just, they've lost the interest in customer service. And I'm saying, let's get back to customer service. Let's get back to comfort. Let's take some of the stress of commuting out of the equation. Let's get more trains on the road. Let's get safer alternatives. But we've got to make them comfortable. We've got to make them fast, and we've got to make them efficient. And if we're not thinking about those three things, and we're talking about all the reasons why it won't work, it definitely won't work. But the automobile industry definitely doesn't want more trains on the road, because that means they're going to take a hit too. But I'm saying that the rest of the world, I've been to these places where they have high-speed rail solutions, and they're very successful, very efficient, and I preferred them in my travels. That's how I know that they work. Okay, just because they don't have them here in America doesn't mean they don't work. That's what I'm saying. So if we go to some of this other stuff, these other alternatives, you see Musk says LA Hyperloop tunnel to be unveiled December 10th. So one time someone said to me, just follow Elon Musk. Elon Musk is someone who knows what he's talking about in a lot of different realms. Yeah, he's been funded and subsidized by the government, and not all of his projects have been successful, but he's so forward thinking with the things he's bringing to the table that it's driving progress, and that's really important. I think it's more important to be driving progress than staying stuck in the industrial era when we're in the technology age and we should be advancing. And this Hyperloop solution that he's got, if you don't know about Hyperloop, that's a really amazing option that you should check into. Hyperloop is being built in Los Angeles, and it's going to go 155 miles an hour. Now, if that train could go 155 miles an hour from Phoenix to Tucson, that's faster than you can go in your car. Okay? Now, you're going to say, well, what am I going to do when I get to Tucson if I don't have a car? Well, we can set up a rail grid down in Tucson. Okay? It's going to take 10 to 15 years, but this is forward thinking. It's not just, well, if I can't enjoy it, I don't care. I'll be dead by that time. That's what people think. That's what most of these baby boomers think is, well, it doesn't affect me. I'll be dead by that time. Well, what about the kids? What about the youth? You're not going to be the type of grandpa to plant the tree, and then just because you're not going to be able to enjoy the shade, that you're not going to plant it. Like, whatever happened to planting the tree for the future generations to enjoy the shade and the fruit and all that? It seems like this baby boomer generation's not interested in that. And I'm calling them out for it because it's true. They need to get more, they need to stop worrying about what they can benefit from and start thinking about the future generations. Truth. Okay, so yeah, that is, but I'm saying there should be more of this Hyperloop stuff. Yeah, it's a developing technology. It might not be there yet, but it's also a 155 mile an hour solution, and it is something that will work. It's underground tunnels instead of above ground, so it takes the whole element of how are we going to, build the rail tracks through this and that. Well, tell you what, we'll just bore through the ground. We'll create a tunnel, and you can do that anywhere. I mean, that's a subway system, right? But it's called a Hyperloop. So you can see also there is a way for you to take action by going to Arizona Department of Transportation. You can see the final tier 1. You can see the study began in 2011. Obviously, it's 2019. The project corridor is still not airborne, so they are dragging their feet with it. And it's not necessarily because the people doing the case study and the planners are dragging their feet. It's because they're coming up against opposition from people who just don't want it. Now, who's behind this? Well, typically it's baby boomers who don't want it, and it's and I'm not trying to create a war with baby boomers because I like baby boomers, but I'm just saying if you notice, the people who don't want this technological advancement of society are baby boomers. And so you can also see the high-speed and intercity passenger rail. You can go on these websites and see and support these ideas is what I'm saying. That's at least what I'm doing. But you're more than welcome to share with me why this comfort and these convenience don't make sense, and that's not the only problem. I mean, tell me why I should be against it. Who knows? Maybe I should be against it when I'm for it so sternly. But I believe that this is the future high-speed rail solution between Phoenix and Tucson with a rail grid built off of it, not just the light rail. So you can see rail group pushing for daily Phoenix to Tucson connection. But the only thing that I don't like about this is it's more Amtrak, and Amtrak is not knocking it out of the park. It's almost like Amtrak's got a monopoly on rail, and we need another competitor to Amtrak to keep this thing moving forward. And so one of the things that I did recently was I went on Maricopa County Association of Governments website, and I did a transportation survey where I actually, I guess you can apparently win up to $1,000 grand prize for taking that. It's on azmag.gov, values in English, right? Maybe I'll post a link in the comments to this right here, okay? I'll post a link to this. And you can take the survey if you live in Maricopa County and mention the high-speed rail solution, because they're going to ask you what it is you want in transportation. So you can see the Valley Light Rail. They've got 26 miles of it. It's definitely something that was forward thinking. It was a good thing they've been building it. They need to continue to expand on it, but not just light rail. They need intermediate rail solutions. Rail that goes from Queen Creek to Peoria, not on a light rail going 25 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour at top speed. I'm talking 55 to 85 miles an hour. you should be able to have a faster rail solution with maybe 10 different stops in between that do connect to the light rail. That's how it's supposed to work. You have high speed rail, intermediate speed rail, and then you have light rail. That's how a rail grid should work. So obviously the light rail works when you're in the towns and you're in the walking areas where the pedestrians are. But when you're in like the intermediate speed rails should not be considered the high speed rail. Right now, an intermediate speed rail is considered a high speed rail here in America. And I'm saying that's a middle range rail system that goes 65 to 85 miles an hour. And that's the fastest one we've got in America. And that's in, I believe that route is in, let's see, that one is in, where's that? Oh, I didn't have the article pulled up. But that one is from, I want to say Baltimore to DC or DC to New York, somewhere around there. But you can see all the Valley Rail, Metro Rail systems here on Valley Metro. Anyways, guys, share your thoughts on this rail system. Obviously, I'm pretty passionate about this, and I'm frustrated that they haven't, that they're still kicking the can around. I'm saying let's do it. High-speed rail, Phoenix to Tucson, make it convenient, make it comfortable, give it 3 different tiers of class. So economy, business class, and first class. That way people will actually use it. So you're going to have executives who are going to use it. You're going to have business people who are not quite at the executive level. And then you're going to have the regular economy class for people who don't mind sitting in economy. All right. Thanks for watching, and do subscribe and like the video or drop a comment. Support the channel. See you guys.